So, things have been a little bit different in the last 4 years for you and the Kinder family, to say the very least. Tell us a little bit about how things have changed from, you're performing at a high level. You say, hey, I'm taking it to the coaching. You perform there at a high level. You're arguably one of the best coaching programs in the nation. You're right. You're with the elite of the elite. Your clients are the elite of the elite. And then you start this journey from scratch. I mean, you didn't come in here and they said, hey, you're Jay Kinder, you're a big deal. Here's something special for you. They said, hey, you're Jay Kinder, and you start from scratch at zero.
I came on like everybody else. Yeah. And which I respect that about the model. There's no special deals here, no matter who you are. Grant Cardone didn't get one either. So, that's a good thing. It's hard for some influencers, I think, to understand that that's how it works, but that's how it works. And you either see it or you don't see it. Like, there's a little confidence now, probably a little more cockiness to the business. The business now is like, listen, you might be somebody, but you'd be lucky to be here and leverage what you have, because ultimately it's the lifetime value of what you're building. And in building brokerages and building a coaching organization, being involved in technology. Over the years, you're always looking for what's the best business model, really, truthfully.
Sure.
And in real estate, I can just tell you, I mean, I got to a point where I was selling 50 homes a month, but the first of the month I had to start over again. And I started to feel like that was insanity a little bit. And I didn't see a real clear path to an exit. Mm-hmm. And then, coaching wasn't too far behind that. It was, 2 years of coaching and building up a residual income, with nobody really leaving you, because, you just kind of started. And so, but after a couple of years, a normalized attrition starts to happen. We're at 11%. You got 200 customers. You got 25 you got to replace this month, and now it starts to feel like going on 50, doing 50 transactions again. Right. And so we're trying to, we woke up every day saying, man, there's got to be a better way, and we kind of moved as far down the value chain of helping an agent as we could. We would do as much to add value to the agent as we could, and so. That was always our philosophy. But in a million years, we would have never came up with a model as brilliant as this. Like, it just is, I heard Glenn say at the event the very first time, he said, we made this compensation model so aggressive that the right people are going to join us and help us build it. And, that's what's happening. There's the who's who of real estate is at EXP. And if you're not, it's just because you've been, had your head buried in the sand and aren't paying attention. But in all due respect, like, what are you doing? Like, if you're not at EXP right now, like, this opportunity is the opportunity of a lifetime. And it's changed my life. Obviously, we went from, grinding every single day. I still grind every day, but I do it at a little different pace. And maybe a Mai Tai at the end of the day a little more often, but it's amazing. It's incredible. And the reason it works is because we're adding value, to the agent experience. And so, I was on the phone today with a lady that was, she was at a competitive brokerage, I'll say, leave the name out. And, she was recruited based upon the training that this organization has. And she was struggling, and she doesn't feel like there's anyone there that's really trying to help her. And, and I was like, man, that's a familiar feeling for a lot of people. In fact, I think 80% of agents get out of business the first year because they don't survive. And, she was real close to throwing the towel in. And once I explained her the model and how you're going to have all the tools that you don't have now, and you're going to have the support that you didn't have. And we're going to help you build your ads out, because that's not a skill that she probably has yet. Right. And we're going to help her to be successful. And guess what? I'm not going to ever ask you for your credit card. That's a different kind of conversation that most agents don't get to have. And, not everybody offers the same, kind of, help with agents as a sponsor at EXP. But I think the general consensus is, you've got support, and you've got help, and you've got all the tools, and you've got this collaborative culture now that you can plug into. The same collaborative culture that we had as we would travel around the world and go to all these different, events and, meet everybody, and we got to know each other and help each other and stuff like that. But that was a very expensive way to create a collaborative, environment where agents are willing to share ideas and stuff like that. And so, you don't get it within the walls of a brokerage typically, because, your competition is sitting right across from you. I remember people used to, this was the worst part about having a great coaching company, by the way. I remember having multiple times. This one story in particular I remember is we helped a couple young guys in Canada build a big business. They were killing it. Mm-hmm. And he heard every Tuesday they would get on our coaching calls, and he saw their success, and they would never tell him, right across, literally his wall, they shared the same wall in between. And so they would never tell him who he was coaching with, but he caught wind of it, who the call was with, and reached out to us and filled out an application for coaching. And he said, I've been listening to y'all coach these guys for like the last year and a half, and I've watched what happened in their business. And I want to, but they would never tell people about us, because they didn't want anybody in their office, receiving the same coaching. And so, it's one of those things that your competitors within your office, whether you might have really cool people in your office if you have a physical building, but you're still competitors. Like the best of the best of the best ideas are not going to get shared publicly at the weekly meetings. Okay. So, so you've got to find a way to get around an environment where, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to figure all of it out. You just need to get around the right people. And, this company has just created that kind of a culture and collaborative nature where, if you're not successful here, you're just not going to be successful. That's just the way I see it.